Alright, let me see if I can think of some other things I can talk about. Maybe something to do with my recording process. So since October 2019, I've been mainly brute forcing my way through working out what process I want for recording and editing my videos. Back when I started, when I was doing Indivisible, the process was pretty easy because there was nothing really that I had to fix. Everything was pretty much in sync, and there was no voice syncing issues with the games. Everything was pretty standard. But over the past 2 years, changes have been made beyond my control, and I've had to either buy new tech or figure out a way of overcoming the issues that were happening in the changes. So with that, maybe I might give you like a tiny bit of an insight into what my recording process is. Maybe the pre-production, the actual producing of the videos, and maybe the editing. I'm not sure about the editing because I don't want the video card to overload when I'm trying to edit on the fly and record that stuff at the same time. But definitely I'll talk about the pre-production stuff and the actual recording of the videos. So the room that you see before you is a beige room. It doesn't look like it, but it is a beige room. It's although the walls are beige, and I've had to black out the windows just so light doesn't go through. When I started, I didn't have the blackout windows. I just had I had light curtains beforehand, and then I had very thick ones, but light was still going through, and I didn't want that to happen, so I had to black out the windows with garbage bags. The LEDs that you see behind me have been gathered about the last year or so, both from online orders and from Bunnings. The strip lighting over there and the icicle lights are all from Bunnings. This was to try and counteract any beige light, because my main lights that I have with me, I've got 3 lights brightening my face. I've got a key light up there, the key light air over there, sorry about that, both from Elgato, and I've got an LED desk lamp right here to brighten up my face, basically my teeth. If I didn't have this going, you wouldn't be able to see the top teeth unless I was shining like this, but if I do it like this, you can barely see it. There's some shadow here, and that's because of the lips. But when I have it on this, it actually works. Because the key lights are so yellow, I've had to diffuse them somewhat, try to make sure that the light is only shining down on me and not from behind. So I've actually used boxes to try and diffuse the direction of the lights. I use my Go XLR box for the regular key lights, and my headset box for the key light over there. I don't really have to do much for the LED lamp here because it doesn't spread too much. Mainly because I'm actually sitting here and I'm blocking any of the spread. I keep hitting this. I've diffused enough of it, but some of the beigey white light does get through. It's only just recently that I've bought 2 more LED lights to try and diffuse all of that. So I bought 2 Philips Hue bar lights and set them to blue, and then you see less of the beige over there, you just see the blue. The main microphone setup that I use is a Rode NT1 mic that I got from a Rode kit that came with an AI1 audio interface. I think that's what it's called, I'm not quite sure. That all came with a kit. I think the boom mic came with it, I'm not quite sure. The boom mic arm, I mean, this thing. That might have actually been a separate purchase. The audio interface that came with the kit was the one that I was using for quite a while until I decided to switch to the Go XLR because I wanted more functionality and all of the other bells and whistles. I used 2 pop filters to make sure that I don't splatter all over the mic, and also that it doesn't pick up any, or at least not too much wind noise whenever I do my P's and T's. So I've got 2 here. This one here came from the kit. But this one here, I actually bought separately to go with the first mic that I had. I think it was the first mic. It was a Samson G-Track Pro, a USB mic. For that, I needed something to block it, so I got one of these that was supposed to work with the Samson G-Track Pro. In the past, I used to use webcam cameras, I started with a Logitech C920 Pro or something like that. That's what I used before. Then I tried to use my phone, the Huawei, which worked pretty well-ish, but I couldn't line it up and I couldn't see what was going on. I moved on from the phone to a Logitech Brio because I wanted the 1080p 60 frames per second stuff. I wanted that full thing, but it was still dropping in frames and I didn't like the fact that I was doing that. So towards the end of the few episodes that I did for Hades, I moved on to an actual mirrorless camera, a Sony Alpha A6100, and that has been the best friend of mine in terms of tech so far. I don't like recording straight off the camera, so what I do is I have the footage from the camera go straight through to the computer via an Elgato, I believe it is a Camlink Pro or a Camlink 4K or something like that. That's what I use to send a signal to the computer, and then I record through that. I use two sources for recording my videos. For the gaming footage, I use the NVIDIA share function off the GeForce Experience, and for the camera, I use OBS Studio. Because my major PC is noisy, I've had to turn down the fan. In order to complement that, I've had to turn my aircon on, I've had to turn the overhead fan off. I have to do all of this to make sure that very little noise gets through this while I'm editing. Something I've also been doing recently is I've been turning the frame rate or the hertz on my monitor from 144 to 60 and keep everything at 60 so that it doesn't cause this to whir up so much, which would facilitate the need for the PC fans. When I start my video recording, I always do something like this. This allows me to sync up my video with the sound so that nothing is out of sync. And then when I get into recording the gameplay footage, I always have to go into the options and go into the audio function. I need to have like a thing that actually produces noise but no music so that I can sync it up from there. It's a little bit hard, but well, especially for this particular footage that you'll see right now. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. For me personally, the music has to be dead silent and the sound effects need to be up high so that I can hear myself, and then I use my voice and the voice coming from the PC game and try to sync that up and then continue on through. The issue is with certain games that I play, it doesn't always stay in sync, so I've lately come to like a habit of trying to do that every like 10 to 15 minutes depending on what happens. That's certainly something that I had to do when I was playing Resident Evil 2. It was considerably harder when I tried to record anything via the PlayStation 5, because that's never in sync. I tried to record the footage through that from the 4K 60 Pro capture card that I have underneath somewhere on that. If you saw my my live Insta thing, you would have seen it then. Underneath it, there's one device that I already had, an Elgato 4K 60 Pro capture card. That's going to be helpful when I decide to record on PlayStation 5 games that I've been doing in the past. I then start my videos properly with the staple intro. Welcome to the Average Rook. We are playing The Room 2. And end them with the staple ending. And the rest of the stuff in between is whatever I can think of at the time, and it's normally pretty mediocre. Given my ADHD, it's a little bit difficult for me to think of emotions and things to say while I am very stuck into the video game, so normally I don't say anything intelligible at all. And finally, for my editing, I use Adobe Premiere Pro. I set the settings to 60 frames per second, 1080p. I try to line them up as best as I can, and then I output the stuff at it's 1440p at 30 megabits a second, only so I can use the VP9 codec that YouTube uses so that none of my videos are pixelated whenever movement happens. Unfortunately, considering that I'm afraid that my video card will overload if I try to record my editing, which already uses the video card and a lot of the video card processes in order to do that, I won't be showing any of my editing footage in this one. I do apologize in advance. And yeah, that's pretty much it for a little bit of insight into what I do before recording, what devices I use, and what I do during recording. It wasn't really much that I said, and I do apologize for rambling, but I literally couldn't think of anything to do for this vlog post. Hopefully I'll think of something later on. This vlog stuff is not natural to me, so I need to get into a better rhythm with it and start thinking up stuff. But if you have any other things that you would like me to say in further video posts or vlog posts, leave them in the comments, and I will attempt to fulfill them. So thank you for listening, sorry for the rambling, and enjoy the rest of your day.